What's good, YouTube? And welcome to just a little bit of I Told You So. Molcharmy Perulia is in the tins, and I have been saying I would sell this sooner than later, and then I thought it would specifically be in the tins. I wasn't sure if it would be Starlight here or if it would be in secret, and it is in that bloated prismatic secret rare part of the set. And with that, over the weekend since the announcement, it has gone down over 40% and is selling at $44 lowest, and people are starting to bite. They're going, you know what, I have some Yu-Gi-Oh to play right now, and it's in that bloated part of the set. I don't want to rush at it. I would think it would be worth about the price of the 10, maybe a little bit more, so $24 to $30. And if you're getting mileage out of it, I do understand going for it at this point where it has fallen down, although the secret rare will be a higher rarity than this ultra. So again, I called this specifically because we have past examples of Konami dropping a hard to get reprint in the world premiere set and then just reprinting it within 10s later. Lightning, I always want to say Vortex, but it's Storm, I'm a boomer, as well as Triple Tactic Thrust. These are examples where they just put it there and then once again down the road into sell the 10s. I think that Perulia was going to be no exception, and I get to be right here. I am always going to call myself out when I'm wrong as well, but we get a double dose of I'm right with us already getting Starlight Rare SP Little Knight, and we are knocking on the death of the collector market as a whole with Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, you can collect what you like. It's not going to stop people from having binders full of cards, but it certainly is going to just suck the air out of the room on quarter century secret rare prices, and that is already happening, and I'll give examples of it in a bit. But with this, we see immediately SP Little Knight's price reeling on its QCR that was actually going up for the most part, besides a couple of recent sales that were under market. You see 350, and I was warning I would sell this sooner than later if I had it, which I don't collect modern, so that would be up to y'all, but it was coming down just a bit as people were trying to sell it, and now they are listed, tons of them, under 300 or at, and it's going to continue to look that way and less. I would, if I had to guess a number, by the end of next year, even with waifu tax, I think this QCR version will be under $200 and have a 50% plus fallout despite its stamp. A lot of people are arguing that quarter century secret stamp, surely it makes it more special than a Starlight rare, and it's about scarcity of the card along with representation, along with its comparable versions, and Starlight just looks so much like quarter century and vice versa, which is why they both will take away from each other and why people are already trying to scramble to sell this version of the card. I think also a lot of people try to make that argument, oh, why are you against easy access version of cards? Look, SP Little Knight, not the most expensive card in the world, but it needs another reprint to stop it. I'm not against easy access versions. I actually would have liked to see SP Little Knight in the ultra rare section, easier to get than anything. I'm against the cannibalization of these high rarity products bleeding out other products to where they don't have long-term value, as well as really burning anybody who's trying to end up holding on to nice binders full of cards. I think when you circle it all and look at the people who are trying to get things and hold on to them, they're only getting burned for the most part with Yu-Gi-Oh! Lately, unless it's Edison format on the back of E3 Yu-Gi-Oh! After Time Travel has decided to upend Time Wizard, and we'll get into more of that too. This is going to be a long video, hold on. Reddit of all places has some really solid takes on this. A lot of people tend to make fun of it, but I am seeing some really nuanced, and I get the problem, parts of the conversation within here. So let's go through kind of the top of the thread. Holy rip to people who have QCRs to that. They get the problem. Max rarity from a Megaton is kind of weird, so a lot of people do see Starlight as a nicer looking version, but max rarity will probably be the QCR for now. I bet the quarter century will be worth more than the Starlight, which, yes, of course, it will maintain some value, but it will continue to lose. And then that stamp is going to help it hold. I don't think it's going to hold a lot of its value, though. I think it'll drop 50% plus. We have bangers like Black Rose and Stardust that have lost 75, and I comment there, and then I start reading through the thread more than commenting because there's no use getting caught up in it. Might as well go through. Some objectively desirable reprints for once. Here's the thing. Infinite Impermanence has its quarter century secret rare that's actually been doing nothing but going down. It's not being played as much right now, and it's actually under half after the reprint announcement. The sales were also headed that direction already. This is fuel on the fire. But you have 3 structure decks with this in it, including a holographic from a structure deck. You had this card throughout history, short printed in $30 MSRP products, reprinted ultra rare 3 times in these $30 MSRP products, and wait, maximum gold. I'm trying to remember the MSRP of that as well. But it has just been pieced out to where it was hard to get for a while, and it eventually got the structure decks. Now, am I for another reprint of this card? Absolutely. Stop it from reaching $5 again. Make it ultra rare. Why not? Just throw another ultra on the pile since you got rid of super rares out of the 10s. Like, come on. Like, make it easy access for playable cards like this. That's what I'm for. I want people to have reason to dive into product and go, oh, at least I'm getting this back out of their product. I want product to be better for the average consumer and person dipping into it. It's better for stores. It's better for the players. It's better for the casuals. It's better for everybody to pull more good cards out of a thing, and then also have the high-end cards be able to be chased after by the whales and people going for it. But here we see them doing nothing but losing value lately, and this is a nail in the coffin. I really do think the Yu-Gi-Oh! Collector market is going to be turning over in its already shallow grave at this point with the reprint. So we continue through the comment section. Ruxin's having an aneurysm, but a lot of people actually give nuance to people trying to tarnish what he's actually saying about the game. And then a Little Knight Wears Large Knight. Rarity 5 in disguise, not quite yet. You gotta have all those collector rares. And then why are people in the comments upset about effing reprints of important but expensive staples, Lamau? And here's where we finally get to the nuanced conversations, and a lot of people surprisingly getting it. Because people who want high rarity cards have them, and if they want to offload those higher rarity cards, it retains less value when scarcity is lessened. I'm complaining because I want affordable staples. $10 plus for a card hurts when I need 30 cards. Why are we getting a second QCR Starlight when we already have that and a regular secret? Where is my super or ultra or common? Exactly! It should be in the ultra rare slot and help sell the product, and more people get it instead of Konami holding it back so they can try to sell it to you again, creating the problem over and over that they're the hero to on an announcement like this. And this one goes into it. We have people aren't annoyed that they're being reprinted. They're annoying they're being reprinted as competing max rarities. As much as investing in cards sucks, it's not actually something you want to totally eliminate from a game economy even as a player. When there are dedicated collectible cards, the increased attention from them means more product is opened, and so supply goes up and price goes down for the rest of the set. Let's look at Duad, for example, because the collector market no longer trusts Konami to make the high rarity card retain any meaningful value. The price of everything in the set is inflated. Secretarion Dragon is 13 pounds despite being a one of in the 4th best deck. Or look at the collector rares from Justice Hunters. The proliferation of collector rares everywhere else has tanked the value of the rarity, so the boxes are worse to open. Furthermore, it means for vendors who make money opening boxes, not only is there less value in a box so they don't open open them and the supply of the cards go down, but it means also that almost all value in the boxes come from competitive staples, and thus the price of those skyrocket in tandem. On top of that, those trying to profit off of trading card singles now can only use meta-relevant cards, which once again takes them out of circulation, so the supply goes down and prices go up, whereas otherwise they could rely on high rarity cards knowing they'll retain more value long term. Because of this, undermining the long-term value of holo cards, or halo, I don't know if that's a term of like the grail, the chase, the top, or whatever, by reprinting formerly chase rarity cards and similar rarities actively makes the market worse and more expensive compared to allowing collectors to just enjoy their own high rarity bubble. On top of that though, it also just sucks for people who did spend 400 pounds of QCR SP to just see it get this. It's not a macro problem in this case, but there's no reason to piss off people and potentially push them away from the hobby by undermining them with the stuff. And that's a huge thing with this, right? Like, infinite impermanence is clearly one of the chases out of here. Konami has the data. They can look on the secondary market, and they often do sell cards by how the secondary market is acting and reacting, and they do keep an ear beat so they can sell those cards again themselves. There is no argument that Konami does not look at the secondary market, and here it is towards the top of this set with a good chunk of value, and they know that, and that's why they're going for it. They're cashing back in. Now, they just did time travel, which hurt a lot of formats, didn't it? By updating the rules, a lot of people don't want to play those, and I feel like Time Wizard was a way better thing, but harder to run, and they don't want to put in the effort anymore after adopting what the community already built for them. So here goes Delinquent Duo, and what's happened? Oh, it's fallen off since the announcement, and now it's almost half the price lowest, around $15 and consistently $17 to $18 when it was going for $25 to $26. Metamorphosis has only been slowly trickling down and now is around $22, and we just wanted access to a version, but this is the QCR version of it. And then Dark Magician Girl Special Art, DMG and Blue Eyes are two of the cards that most consistently sell sets, and the special alter art that was also special for the 10s, oh look, it's the same graph, they're both going down. This tried to maintain value, even started to go up, and then oh, there's a nicer version. There's not a reason to revisit these 10s for this card, and it came crashing down under half the price, but this has consistently come down, and now it's $45, and I remember on debut it was trying to hang on to $60 and has only come down from there, and there was so much hype for this specific version in QCR. People know Konami doesn't really hold special arts in all that regard, especially seeing that this is one of the cards that it was done to. So they know this could just be in some Starlight collection down the road. Now, there are special rarities that aren't as comparable, and they're actually coming down too. This at 400 may seem very high, but it was selling at 500 to 600 not too long ago. You can see a ton of 450s and even a 500 right here. So with that, we see the entire parts of the market coming down on these kind of cards because the whales aren't biting as much on this kind of stuff. Blue Eyes is the top. This art is beautiful. It's one of my favorites, and you can see here where it was trying to hold 31, 32, and it's come down 25, 26. Now it does go up towards 27.50 somewhat fast, but it's still coming down and not holding any air. Now you could argue, oh, the Blue Eyes deck, it's going on the way out. It's not as popular, even if it's topping a regional or two. Justice Hunters is here. You're going to see even less of it, so that could be a reason why. But it's not a coincidence that a card that would see no play ends up suddenly crashing on down when there's those alternate versions, right? Dark Magician Arcana art. This is held in such high esteem. I knew so many people excited for this to actually get its QCR, myself included, and I think the vanillas look exceptional in the rarity. Check this out, $25, 25, 25, 25, 26. It's been falling out and doing nothing but. The only things that are going up are on the back of E3, and when we're talking old school, it's Edison. It's playable in past format, so it has to have collectability and utility. It has to have both. And E3 has these amazing tournaments with huge prizes. They're getting sponsored, they're selling out their entire rooms, and they are huge, and it is awesome to see the community put the backbone there. But that's the only thing having upward motion. If we're talking first at LOB even, it's only been falling out since the COVID era. A lot of people have walked away, and it has declined and not really been touched all that much compared to Edison. Plague Spreader Zombie first edition, you can see a German one here is at 430 before the lowest on all the market is like 650 because people buy these out. And here's the modern max of Black Rose, the Starlight Rare, which after its QCR, when it was $650 and going up even further, has fallen down to just $150. That's what I mean. This has fallen 75%. Yet the old school, the version you used to play back then, first edition Ultimate Rare, which people actually argued was ugly and would even go for a 10 secret at times, but now people have come around to it. You can see here, first edition German at 500, and lowest in English is trying to ask 1,000. You can't keep these if they're first near mint. They just sell if you put it up at a good price. Same with Stardust Dragon. It's Starlight Rare, once 750. I want to say even 800. I remember a sale at 800 is now towards 200. A similar, almost 75% fall off in price. Yet its Ultimate Rare is really hitting up there. And I remember when the Starlight came out, this was like 300 or something. This is around $850 lowest listed now. And again, if you put it up at a good price, it sells. You have to have that utility within your collectability, along with anime on some of these cards. Now, I had a couple modern cards lined up. It doesn't really feel like it fits the discussion, but let's go through it in case you're here for some of these. Al Shadol Gristia is up because Shadol's getting mixed in as an engine and some people are teching it. Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon is also up. It's being teched, I believe, in K9 Crystron. And then I was going back through other cards for this discussion. I thought I actually closed those tabs and left them for next one, but hey, a little extra market watch stuff. I don't mean to make the example citizen immigrant argument over here, but this is how to do it if you're Konami. If you made it hard to get in a high rarity once before, do it again. Super Polymerization has the anime clout, past format clout, and still gets played in the current formats. And with both versions being hard to pull out of niche side sets, it isn't so bad that it got a QCR. Both of these are up towards 175, some of their all-time highs, and that's a really good thing to actually see. Konami knows it can do the model where both are hard to get for the high rarity while still giving easy access low versions. They can do it. They choose not to. Instead, they put things like Trishula or Exodia as these imports to sets to really try to sell them and hype them up once and make them hard to get, and then it goes in a freaking rarity collection or Megaton. It's super easy access and they crash both of them. And people aren't falling for it anymore. They're going, I'm only going to buy it if it's usable in the metagame, or if it's usable in a past format like Edison that actually has cool prizes and isn't just falling off. Like GOAT is the original past format people were playing, and it's fallen off. People were recently buying out GOAT cards, is why I specifically brought up Delinquent Duo. Like, people were buying this up thanks to Time Wizard when we were going to have the 3v3 and it's all three different formats and you have the GOAT player. A lot of GOAT buyouts happened less than, I want to say, half a year ago. And now we see it's nothing but in decline. The reprinted Secret Rare out of Kaiba collection used to be 20 some odd dollars for this. And now a QCR is less. People always are like, oh, why are you bringing up Silent Magician when I talk about how the Silent Magician out of the Duelist pack was $50+ and it's QCR that is 1 in every 2 cases for the Silent Magician level 8. DM era, Yugi Final Duel Art can't break 20. Oh, who cares about Silent? Okay, let's do an example. And people might say GOAT format fell off or whatever. No, we had recent buyouts for this and relevance thanks to Time Wizard, and Konami shoots itself in the foot somewhere else. And here we see it try to hold the line for a while, and oh, what happened? ah, yeah, Konami kind of ruined things and pissed on it, didn't they? And that's what they do with a lot of stuff. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch / in-depth discussion on the collector rare market and a couple of other updates to the market, but this one's egregious, I think, and I'm really glad to see the nuanced discussions in places like Reddit. Discords, I've seen a lot of discussions on this today as well, and I think it's good that people are realizing that this is actually bad for all aspects of the game, because at the end of the day, when product and collector cards aren't holding value and people stop chasing after them, that means the product continues to fail. It's bad for stores, it's bad for the people opening them, and if you just say buy the singles, somebody's got to open the box and some kind of value has to make sense. And if it ain't mathin', then you're going to see less stores carry Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is already happening once again. Just like when we had Lightning Underdrive, Dawn of Majesty, or Yawn of Majesty, whatever you want to call it insultingly, Blazing Dumpster Fire. We had that year and a lot of stores left Yu-Gi-Oh! Some trickled back in and now they're headed back out and a lot of them aren't going to carry it again. And that's a really scary future for Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's a really scary future in general. You know, my job's Yu-Gi-Oh! And talking Yu-Gi-Oh! Card prices. Like, I see the writing on the wall. Like I've said, I am personally selling a lot of my collection and slumming it down because I think Konami's not going to turn the ship around. And this is further proof the ship ain't turning. It's full steam ahead. And again, the only answer I see to saving it all, which still will kill a ton of card value, is set rotation. It really is it.